What is going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Oregon Ducks Live, right here on the Voice of College Football. We are here, as always, every Wednesday night. And Spaz, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great tonight. Excited.
That was vague and generic.
We actually got a guest. Yes.
We'll see how long he sticks around before he abandons. But everyone, yeah, without further ado, we don't want to hold this man waiting. But I think this one clip summarizes what all Oregon fans saw during the 2015 season. And I think it's very fitting. So right now, welcome in Vernon Adams Jr.
Here's your ball game. 4th and goal. Adams once again extending the play. Does he have a miracle left in him? Launches it. Two players come together, and it is scored. Dwayne Stanford.
Oh my goodness!
Yes,
Goodness, man.
I think that summarizes. I think that literally summarizes that season with you.
Oh my goodness! What's up, guys? How y'all doing, man?
Good. Welcome. Good to have you, man.
Yes, sir, man. Good to be here. Yeah, like you said, that was a wild season. I remember that like it was yesterday, man. Triple overtime. That was the last play of the fourth, and what a game! What a game! It's crazy. I'm going down to Arizona next week to visit my sisters for Thanksgiving, but hopefully they're not watching because that's supposed to be a surprise.
That game was that entire season. Just every week was like, oh no, what now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that's when they gave the team the cardiac kids was during that season because the Stanford game, that game, I think the Cal game that year was also like that.
Yeah, we had some close games and some good ones though, for sure.
Oh, thrilling. Absolutely thrilling games that season. Obviously outside of the some of the blunders, but
right.
I mean, that's what happens in sports, right? I mean,
hey, it's sports. That's for sure.
So Vernon, some people are going to watch this and maybe don't remember the 2015 season too much, but you had gone from Eastern Washington to Oregon, and you were electric at Eastern Washington. We all know that you took down the Beavers. I remember. I think you guys put up like 50 points on the Beavers the year prior. What was the choice to go to Oregon from Eastern Washington?
Yeah, I'm 2-0 against the Beavers, two different schools, Eastern Washington and Oregon, so that feels good. But yeah, just growing up as a kid, Southern California, playing NCAA 14, 13, all those games, you know what I'm saying, before it went out and came back, I used to always play with Oregon. Everybody went to play with Oregon. They always had the cool uniforms, the fast players, just everything about Oregon is what every kid dreamt of, growing up, and so when Oregon came along as an opportunity, to go there, I was like, first of all, it all happened because we lost in the semifinals at Eastern Washington. My high school coach calls me 2 days later and he's like, hey, Vernon, I got this coach up here at Oregon and he said they're interested in you guys. Marcus Mariota's leaving for the NFL. And I'm like, Oregon who? Oregon Tech? Oregon Junior College? Like, what are we talking about? Oregon who? And they're like, University of Oregon, Vernon, stop messing around. I'm like, you stop messing around. Like, why are they, like, what are you talking about? He said, this is just what they told me. They said, you need to get a permission to contact release and talk to him, So 2 weeks go by, I haven't done it. He rings my phone again, asks me to do it, so I do it finally. As soon as I got my permission to contact release, sent it to everybody in the Pac-12 and Boise State's conference. And the first number to pop up was a 541 number, area code, like 20 minutes later. And I didn't answer because I was in class, but when I listened to the voicemail, it was Scott Frost, calling me. And he was just telling me like, hey, we want to talk to you, we're interested. And that's how that went. And I took a visit there to Boise State and Washington. And so, and Washington State as well. But like I said, it was just my dream school, just growing up. I'm like, Oregon, like I gotta go, I have to go. And when I went my visit to Oregon, whatever you think it is inside the facilities and all that, like, yeah, it's nice. It's 10 times better, literally. And so that really got me, it being my dream school growing up. And I couldn't pass up an opportunity like that.
Right on.
Was that tough though going in? I mean, I don't know how, as a player you think about it, but like you just said, like, oh, Marcus Mario's leave. Was that like a little bit of like oh, I might be filling in for Mario? Because you came in late too in the summer. And I mean, we as fans, we were like, nah, he's gonna be the starting quarterback. Sorry. We know he's already gonna be starter, but was that like a lot of pressure on you? Did you feel that or
Man, there's always pressure at the quarterback position, but pressure is a privilege, man. Not everybody can handle this pressure that us quarterbacks take on week in and week out. And I loved it. It was my fault. I came in late. I didn't pass my math class. I took math like 2-3 times towards the end of my years at Eastern Washington and just didn't pass it until that last time. And I was 5 days late for camp. So I had 3 weeks to really get used to the offense, the players, the coaches, everything, how they do the Oregon way in 3 weeks to play Eastern Washington the first game of the season.
Oh, that's
I was
right.
gonna ask you about that.
Which was so crazy because when I was out there playing against those guys, it was like practice. I'm like, look at Zuzi over here. Look at this guy over here. And I'm like, it's just crazy going against them, And so then I ended up breaking my finger in that game, and so that was tough. But there's pressure all the time at the quarterback position, but I never run from it. I'm always running to the challenge. I'm running to it. So yeah.
Yeah, that must have been weird having to play against Eastern Washington. Your old team, game 1. That had to be kind of weird.
Yeah, it definitely was weird. Like I said, it felt like practice. I didn't mean for it to go down like that. And, I had some great friends on that team still. One of my favorite coaches on that team still. And, it was tough, but we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah. So you played that year and then you got hurt again in the bowl game, correct?
Yeah.
Don't bring up that bowl game, Spaz.
Right.
Please don't. Please don't.
We don't need to talk about that. But man, it was crazy because like it was an RPO. The play was an RPO. We were up 31-0. It was RPO before the half. I pull it, or maybe 28-0, then we got 3 after I got hurt or something like that. I don't know. 28 or 31-0. I pull it on the RPO. I should have gave it, but I pulled it, and I was running, got about 5-6 yards, and then me and the strong safety head-to-head, boom. And, I just kind of real quick, but they said I had a concussion, which I didn't feel any symptoms after or anything like that. Like they said I did. And so they pulled me out the game and said, it's 31-0. You're good. You're good. You got this. Like, we got this game.
Yeah.
Sure enough, TCU goes into halftime and their head coach changes his purple shirt to all black. So he comes out in his all black shirt, ready to go. And they come out.
Gary Patterson, yeah.
Just handing it to us, man. And we had the best athletes in the world. And we couldn't even get them the ball and just get first downs and score. So
I was like,
one touchdown. It was tough.
That's why I was like, Spaz, don't bring up that game. I was in Africa working rotationally, and people were like, dude, that was such a good game. And I finally got to watch it. I'm like, why? At halftime, we're killing them. And then I'm like, oh, no. Like, realization set in immediately, like, oh, no. That's the only reason someone would say it's a good game. Right. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Painful. That's a hard way to end a college career too.
It was my first and only and last bowl game. Like that was it. Like it was my only bowl game. Like the bowl experience was so cool too. Like I just know those big bowl games, like the Tostitos and Fiesta and Rose. I know all those are awesome for the players. I bet.
And the Alamo Bowl though I've heard is a really good experience. I mean, it's not like one of the like a low tier bowl. It's a good
It's a
bowl game.
mid tier. It's a mid tier. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like I know those top ones, like those are super cool because we had a good experience. Like they took us to the Spurs game. We did the river. They got this famous river out there. So
The Riverwalk, yeah.
The Riverwalk, yeah.
Did all that, and it was cool.
So after your playing career at Oregon, did you have a lot of NFL scouts looking at you or any of that before you went to the CFL, or how did that all work out?
Yeah, not really, you know. I went to the East-West Shrine game, did good, got MVP of that game, but it was crazy because during the whole week I didn't talk to any scouts. Like all the scouts were talking to everybody else, you know. I didn't talk to anyone. Even at the NFL Combine, when I went to the Combine, I only talked to the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, and real briefly talked to Chip Kelly when he was with the Niners. And so we didn't have an official meeting. I just had one official meeting, and that was with the Steelers. But yeah, so I didn't really get much interest coming out, but I wouldn't blame them. You know, when I was coming out of college, I was very immature, out of shape, wasn't training the way I was supposed to be training because I had the numbers to back it up to say I deserve an opportunity in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But when they see me in person, and I just, for some reason, I thought I had made it already, and I wasn't training the way I was supposed to be trained. I was supposed to look a certain way and weigh a certain weight, and I just wasn't doing that. And so I really screwed myself, you know, and I take full responsibility. Like if they came to me and gave me another opportunity today, it'd be a totally different quarterback, human being, mature quarterback. So.
Oh, that's responsible too. I mean, that's maturity right there. Because I mean, you see like guys like Aaron Murray are doing. I mean, you could definitely be like an Aaron Murray, you know. I mean, for sure. But yeah, for when you did graduate after a year, we did really think Chip Kelly was gonna maybe try to snatch you up somewhere, you know.
Yeah,
give you that shot.
I did hear from the Niners during the draft. Like it was day 3 of the draft, so. What's that? Rounds 4 through 7, 3 through 7, something like that.
Yeah.
They said they had a draft pick in the 6th round, and they said we believe we're gonna take you there, you know. But they end up taking Jeff Driscoll out of La Tech, and so they end up going with him. But yeah, we had a lot of quarterbacks drafted that year. I think like 15, 16, 17 quarterbacks.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
And I think only like 3 of them are still playing, like anywhere. I think. I mean, some of these guys might be backups. I don't know. Jeff Driscoll might still be in the league, but I don't know.
If he is, he's like practice squad or third string or something like that somewhere. I don't know for sure. I'd have to look that up. It's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about it right now, but so. After the NFL, then when that didn't work out, you ended up the CFL. How was that transfer? Because I know the CFL works different. The CFL does their own draft as kind of like hopeful players, kind of like they get dibs almost if you want to go to the CFL. How does that work for
so,
a lot of us?
So after all that, my pro day, combine, all that stuff didn't get drafted. I got a mini camp invite to the Seahawks, went out there, did my thing, didn't get picked up, obviously. Then I went to the Redskins. At the time, they were the Redskins. Same thing, did my thing, didn't get picked up. And I had one more, but then I started to realize that it's really politics up here, like, because I'm doing better than these guys who are here, you know? And I'm just, you know, it's just really politics. So I knew the CFL wanted me, so I called my agent, told him I'm going up there. Let me go up there for a few years and then try to get back down. And so what you're talking about is the CFL draft. When they actually do the draft, you can only draft Canadian players. So you can't draft any American players. They're only Canadian players, whether they play in the States or they play in Canada. But they do have this thing called a neg list. So each team, there's 9 teams in the CFL, and each team has a neg list of American players. It's probably about 10 or 15 players or whatever. And if you get put on any of these teams' neg lists, that is the only team you can play for when you go to Canada. Whether you did 5 years in the NFL, 10 years in the NFL, or no years in the NFL, once you decide to go to Canada, if you're on a team's neg list, you can only play for that team until they release your rights or trade you or whatever.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought it was, kind of like that. I didn't know the term, so I'm glad you shared that info, because that's what I thought it was. Is like when they select you in that sense of it, you're stuck to their rights, basically.
Yep, exactly. So neg list and negotiation list. That's the
okay.
Right. So yeah.
So that was so for you that was Montreal at first, right?
Yep. So I was originally on the BC Lions, who was the West Coast team over here. They're in Vancouver, BC. I was on their neg list, but then they traded me to Montreal before I even got to BC. So they traded me first round pick. Went to Montreal, was in Montreal for a couple years, got traded to Saskatchewan, finished the year there, got traded to Hamilton in 2018, started the season there. Then I came back to Montreal. I got released from Hamilton after camp. We had Johnny Manziel, Jeremiah Masoli, Dane Evans, and Bryant Moniz all on the same roster. So I got released there, went back to Montreal in 2018 and was in Montreal from 2018 to 2022. Then I got traded to BC, and I was in BC from 2022, the end of 2022, until now, 2024. And I just signed a 3-year contract extension with BC this last offseason, but I'm about to get traded in the next 2 weeks. So I'll be on a different team, in the next 2 weeks.
You had an injury this year too, obviously.
Yep.
But other than that, you've been like tearing it up the last couple of years, especially as a starter.
I've been playing some of my best football these last few years. Led the league in passing yards last year. Was on my way to do it again this year, but I had hurt my knee. Was out for a couple games, and they brought back a former NFL quarterback, Nathan Rourke, who went to Ohio, and then they ended up sticking with him for most of the year before giving me the chance at the end of the year again. So it was a roller coaster year, but I'm about to get traded to a different team who wants me, and I'll be back on top next year, going for that 2025 Grey Cup and MOP.
Right on. That's spirit. That's when a guy with your experience, gets traded, time after time after time, it can kind of it can really mess with your emotions and your mind, and and to still have that moxie and that, like you said, I'm just going to go there and I'm going to do my thing and I'm going to go for it all. A lot of guys would have said, I give up.
Yeah, no. And I think you have something there, but it might be a little different for me, just because I'd rather get traded than cut and cut and cut and cut. Getting cut and cut and just getting cut, and then getting the lowest salary every time you get cut. Because if you get cut, then the next team's like, well, we either pay the lowest salary or you're not getting nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? So getting traded, I'm getting traded at least at this point of people's career. You won a championship, but it's about getting your money too. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in the CFL. We don't get paid nowhere near what the NFL guys are getting paid.
Yeah.
But you can still make a good living up there. You can make a good living up there, and if you handle your cards right. And so, like I said, just getting traded. At least I'm getting my contract. I'm getting what I deserve, and I do deserve more. We all deserve more in the CFL, but I'm getting that. And for me as well, I look at it as part of the journey. Like, when I write a book one day, it's going to be so many players and coaches that I can talk about and just say what good things about these people. And when I'm a coach one day, I didn't learn from so many different coaches because I've been on different teams, 2 teams in college, 4 or 5 teams up here in the pros, you know what I'm saying? Mini camps with the Hawks and the Redskins. Like, I'm taking little bits and pieces from every coach that I talk to, whether I like him or if I don't. It's going to be something in his coaching that I'm going to take and put in my toolbox so I can help the next generation. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's all part of the journey. It's a learning experience, and I'd rather be playing than not playing.
That's
Absolutely.
That's something I've heard from some of the best players is they look at their experiences and the different staffs or coaches they've been around, or even coaches have been like, I've been on this staff and I learned from this guy or this guy, and take little tidbits here and there and able to apply it to their game or their coaching or their style, whatever they want to call it as. I'll touch on Jackson Johnson's super chat. He is the resident media guy basically for the channel, but you kind of went over it briefly, but he was asking what other schools you thought about transfer to in 2015 before Oregon.
Man, like I said, I went to Boise State. That was so cool. Like, it was like a mini Oregon, but everything was blue. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was so cool. So if I didn't get Oregon or anything like that, I wouldn't have been surprised if I went there. I got an offer from Texas, Charlie Strong. I never took my visit down there. I wish I would have, but I didn't. And Maryland, out of nowhere, they offered me as well. But UCLA offered, Washington State, but Washington offered late. They offered after I committed to Oregon. And all honesty, because I was at Eastern Washington and I had my first child at Eastern Washington, and I kind of wanted to stay in Washington. If Washington, and I'm sorry to say this, Duck fans, I'm so sorry, but I'm just being real with y'all.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Washington came a little bit earlier, I probably would have went there, but it was for my kid though. My kid was from Washington. He lived in Washington. I just wanted to be closer to him, but they didn't. And I'm glad they didn't. That's fine. I went to my dream school, and I'm happy I went to my dream school. So, yeah.
Yeah, rumor has it that you may be in the house on November 30th.
Yeah, that's my plan. I got to ask Coach Adams, Coach Junior Adams. He was my receivers coach at Eastern Washington. That's right. That's my boy. I call him my uncle. So I'm gonna ask him to see if I can get a ticket, get in there, and yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to pull up, guys.
It's a good game to go to.
Oh yeah,
and I don't think you'll have an issue getting a ticket.
I don't think so either.
I don't know. I haven't really met this coaching staff and stuff. Like I said, I just know Junior. So, but Dan, I talked to Coach Lanning real briefly on Twitter. He just followed me out of nowhere. I was already following him for the longest, and he followed me out of nowhere. I'm like, that's what's up, Coach. Follow me. So I just sent him a message, told him how good of a job he was doing. And he said he played against me. I think he was at Sam Houston State, and I was at Eastern Washington. He was coaching there, and I had no idea he was coaching there. And those are some battles too. I think we went. They beat us. Wait, we played 3 times, so they went 2-1 against us. So yeah, those are some good battles.
I think he was a linebacker or a DB coach.
Oh yeah,
at Sam Houston State. I believe they're like an hour north of me. I'm in Houston, North Houston.
Oh, okay.
So I know about the Bearcats. They have the weirdest mascot. It's not really a mascot. I don't know what that thing is. But
so what's it like up there in Canada? I mean, traveling around all those different areas and whatnot. Do you guys mostly travel on bus, or do you guys fly? Or
no, that's funny. But
well, at least he didn't say moose.
Actually, some of the close teams too. So, like when I played in Montreal and we played against Ottawa, it's a 2-hour drive. So we did do a bus there. But there's 9 teams: Vancouver, which is BC, then 2 in Alberta, which is above Montana, Calgary in Edmonton. Saskatchewan is above Montana. Winnipeg is like on the other side of Montana. And then so those are the West teams, those 5. Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Calgary, Edmonton, BC. On the East, there's Toronto, Hamilton, which are an hour drive away from each other, and then Montreal and Ottawa. and Ottawa is the capital of Canada. So that's where their White House is and stuff. It's called the Parliament. And but yeah, it's very cool, man. All these cities are very unique in their own way. You know, those ones above Montana, those are like the country type cities, and then you got the big cities in Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto. So yeah, they're all unique in their own way, and you get to play each team twice in a year. So you go to them, and then they come to you, and so yeah, it's pretty cool.
As doesn't know, I know a little too much more about Alberta than I'd like to. I spent a lot of time in Bonneville, Canada, which is like 3 hours.
Yep. That's one of the teams I might get traded to, Calgary or Edmonton.
I spent a little too much time in Alberta, out in the middle of nowhere. That is definitely the countryside of Canada.
So have you gotten used to the winters up there?
Oh, you see where I'm at? I'm back in the States. I don't spend the winters up there. I don't spend no winters out there, bro.
Season's over. I am out. See ya.
Out. And that's what's good about it. You know, like I said, the pay is wrong. You know, it's off. But for coaches and players, you get like a real off season. Like if you're gonna be a coach, even coaches, like they don't get paid what they deserve. But if you're coaching in the CFL, you're up there from May to November, and then you have a whole offseason to just be with your family. Like it's not like college, you're recruiting 24/7. You're going. NFL, you're there. You know what I'm saying? It's just you get a full 6 months off, and then you're back up there for 6 months. You know, unless you live up there. So yeah, it's decent. And it's a passing league. You get 3 downs for all the fans who don't know. It's a 3-down game. It's 12 players. It's 12 on 12. The field is wider and it's longer, and the end zones are 20 yards instead of 10 yards. So like it's a completely different game. There's a Canadian ratio, so that means you have to have at least 7 Canadian starters out of the 12 players. Not like on offense, like 7 on offense, 7 on defense. No, like just all together. So like you can have 5 on offense, 2 on defense, or 3 on defense, 4 on offense, something like that. So it's a completely different game. The D line has to be 1 yard off the ball. So quarterback sneaks are typically, you know, good to go. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes they do get stuffed. But yeah, it's just a completely different game, and I've grown to like really fall in love with it for real.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was something I was going to ask, was like, what was that transition like of American rule to the CFL, where I've watched enough CFL where obviously there's a huge transition between, like you just talked about, field size, players, not just one guy in motion. Now you have 3 guys in motion running towards the line. What was that transition like?
As a quarterback, I think it's the hardest for quarterback, like everybody else. Quarterback, receiver, and DB, of course, because receiver, you got to learn how to do the waggle. It's called a waggle, that forward motion. It's called a waggle. So you got to learn how to do that, which is pretty simple. DB, now you got to learn how to cover guys with a waggle coming at you. So you got to learn how to get out of there and not get out too soon, because the out route can happen really quick. But quarterback is the hardest because, like I said, our field is wider, it's longer. So like if I'm on the left hash throwing a hitch route, like a 5-yard hitch, like just 5-yard turnaround receiver, and I'm on the left hash and I'm throwing it to my receiver all the way out to the right, a 5-yard hitch, because our field is so wide, is really like a 45-yard throw. So like you can't just throw it like a laser. You got to put a 2-ball and throw it like that to get it out there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's something you got to get adjusted to. I've been up here. I'm going on 10 years next year, and I think I didn't really start getting adjusted to all the throws until around year 5.
Wow.
I think that's fair, because I mean that's it in American football, whatever, U.S. football, even college too, and same thing. 1 guy in motion, but they can't be running towards the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
But in Canada, you can have like 3 guys. So I was like, the timing of that is probably just kind of funky at first to realize, hey, all these guys are running.
That's it. They running full speed. So you got to get it out early and right now, get it up, get it down.
So you got to do the quick 2-3 second outs a lot more than you do down here.
We do pretty much everything that we would do down there. It's just like I said, the field is just wide. You just got more space to work with, so it's harder for these DBs. That's why a lot of DBs who are good, really good up here, and they go back down, they're good down there, down south, because you can cover guys running at you full speed, so you can cover guys stagnant. You know.
That's
Right.
fair.
Yeah. Totally.
That's fair. I mean, if you cover a guy running full speed already, you know you're going to get off. You can stop him at the line.
Exactly.
You can at least bump him or whatever. At least.
What's
a little
your what's your fondest memory of playing in Eugene?
Playing against USC, going 20, 25, 6 touchdowns, more touchdowns than interceptions, 300-some yards. And because, I'm from LA area, so I had a few boys on that team who I grew up with, and everybody in the hood was just like, we're going with USC, like Vernon not going to get it done. He's not going to get it done. I'm like, yep, okay. And we smacked them. So,
Is it true? I had this question, actually, I was thinking about it a couple of days ago. I've been wanting to ask you, is it true after that game, I believe, now, I don't quote me on this, but it was your dad. You said, look at what I did or something. He's like, yeah, you threw an interception, though.
It wasn't after that game. It wasn't after that game, but yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. He said that after, I forget what game it was, but I remember I had a really good game. Like, it might have been 4 TDs, 300 yards, and 1 interception or something. I'm like, and then he's like, okay, but you threw an interception, so like that messes up everything.
I was like, damn.
So he was always that's always my toughest critic, my favorite coach, and my dad always gonna keep it real with me. You know what I'm saying? So some of your coaches these days, you gotta, especially these days with these young college kids, you gotta be careful what you say to them. But my dad, I know I can handle tough coaching. I can handle, because I grew up on that. So you can cuss me out. You can do whatever you need to do to get in my head for me to lock in, and that's what he, even to this day, he talked to me like I'm an 8-year-old kid. Like, after a bad game up here, he'll call me. Sometimes I don't even answer right after the game if it was a bad game. I'm like, I'm gonna have to wait. I have to wait for a couple of days, but
Dad's calling. I ain't even answering that shit right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes you better. And that's something too, is like, now you've been watching, like you were talking about Dan Lanning following you, you've been following him. What do you see with this team now? That's totally different, obviously, than the Mark Helfrich era, post Chip Kelly. But what do you see with the coaching staff now? Like, what do you get a feel for as a player? Obviously.
Yeah, I just feel like, we had a really good team. Oregon's always got good teams. They always got good teams, good players, and stuff like that. It's really, I think, really scheme-wise. It's scheme-wise. Our team, we had good coaches and stuff. Some coaches were more older and things like that. These coaches now are just, they're younger and they're closer to these kids, and the chemistry is there, So I think he has total command of the room and respect from his players. Just how I hear they talk about him and love up on Coach Lanning. So man, it's about that. When your players trust you, you put confidence in your players, and you guys are going to play the way you guys are playing. And I know everyone's going to be saying this, but this offseason, like, as soon as we got this quarterback, Dylan, I'm like, he going to be the one to do it. He going to be the one to do it. He going to take them to the championship, and he going to be the one to do it. He got the playmakers around him. He got the hogs in front of him, and then the defense is doing really good as well. So when you can hit on all 3 phases, it's tough to stop. You just got to play your game.
So now that you're back down here, you is your family with you and stuff, or?
Yeah, so they're all here in Tacoma. I got my kids, a couple kids in Canada as well. So, but just doing my daddy life, and Just bought a duplex last year too, so I'm renovating that. Trying to get it all together, and yeah.
Staying busy even in the off season. Yeah, gotta keep yourself busy.
I know. These kids will though.
Right. Did you have you had any thoughts? Real quickly. I don't know how long you want to stay or available to. I mean, we're here for however long you want to be here. But have you had any thoughts of looking at things like the landscape of college football? Obviously now you've been in the pros for like 10 years now, basically. NIL, the whole realignment, the Pac-12 is gone. Shout out Big Ten. Thank you for letting us take over. You're just playing in our league now, basically.
Yeah, yeah, man.
It's a totally different landscape,
It's a total different game right now, man. NIL, the 4 teams going to the Big Ten from the Pac. The Pac being the Pac 8 or 6 again, or whatever it is, and just I wish we were getting NIL back in the day, though. I know that.
Yeah, right.
Kids are getting paid. Obviously, I wouldn't be getting paid like Shador or any of these top kids, but I'm still getting some money, and it's just it's so cool to see because my cousin went to Oregon State and played for Oregon State, but ever since 2015, we've been trying to do stuff like this, like trying to get our likeliness like paid for everything, what I'm saying? We've been trying to write books on it, everything, so it's just cool to see it come to fruition. So yeah, it's like you said, different landscape, and I'm happy for the college kids. I know it's kind of stressful for the coaches because you got to cater to some of these high school kids to get them to commit and stuff, and not switch up on you. And like I said, you can't coach these kids and talk to these kids how you used to. You got to love them up.
What do you think that takes? Because like you just said, yeah, it's not the same as like, hey, come for our team, you'll make the difference. Now it's come for our team, we can promise you NIL.
Yeah.
What does that take from a coach? Because that's gotta be stressful. Recruiting was always year round, anyways. But
I bet that's hella stressful. Like you got to do all that and keep up with these kids and tell them how much money you're gonna give them, and you're paying some of these kids more than you're paying your coaches, and it's it's stressful. I bet.
I don't have the energy to do that. I do not have the energy to be a college coach.
What are your future plans? Are you planning on going into coaching? You talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would love to. Like I said, I have too much knowledge, learned from too many coaches around the country, around 2 different countries, and I would love to coach. So,
you thinking any specific position group? Obviously, I mean, you don't obviously quarterback, of course, but oddly enough, a lot of great quarterbacks turn into amazing wide receiver coaches.
Yeah, I would love to coach wide receivers, teach them the game, teach them how the quarterbacks are reading it. So I already know quarterbacks. So when I know our reads, I'm going to tell my receivers like, hey, this is how he's reading it versus this coverage. When you see this coverage, expect the ball. When you see this coverage, you got to run through the safety. Like I'm going to get them right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to coach for 20 plus years. So at some point, I'm going to coach receivers. At some point, I'm with the quarterbacks, running backs, OC. And I want to work on the defensive side as well. Like, I don't necessarily have to be a coach, but an assistant, because I want to see how D coordinators really think and how they think. And so after that, I can go back to the offense and be like, this is what they're thinking on this down and distance or on this, and have an upper hand on that.
Yeah,
I think that's good. That's good versatility, though. That's just how you understand both sides of the ball in
Exactly.
depth.
Yeah.
Frankeny here, my abusive half sister, wants to know: do you have a favorite coach you've played for?
I have a.
That's a tough question. That's a tough question.
Yeah. I have like 3 or 4 that are like my favorite out of all the coaches. Since high school, college, both colleges, and 5 different teams. My high school coach, Coach Harrington. He's the one who called me and got me to Oregon and helped me with that. He coached me through high school.
No.
Bo Baldwin was my head coach at Eastern Washington, who is now a quarterbacks coach in Calgary for the Calgary Stampeders in the CFL, who I might get traded to. And then Kahari Jones, he was my head coach and OC in Montreal. So, yep, I would say those would be my 3 favorite coaches who I played for. I love Scott Frost too. Like, he was dope. He was super cool to play with, and he was a player's coach. Like, he was so laid back. Like he kicked it with us off the field. He invited us to his house, had a barbecue, and like he was so dope. I like Scott.
That's what I've heard. I realize
I've heard
too.
Lanning does a lot of those.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Something that happened with Oregon after Scott Frost left, obviously for UCF. Lanning does a lot of stuff that Scott Frost does, and then after Scott Frost left, though, Oregon kind of fell apart, and I think they lost a lot of that team building, communication, and Lanning has brought that back. I do think there's something connected with that when the team feels like they're actually part of a family compared to just
just
when
a
you're
player.
on that field. When you're on that field, you looking to your right, like, I'm gonna make this play for my brother. Like, we didn't kick it off the field. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you need. Events like that.
Yeah. Lanning does such a good job. I mean, he dealt with it. It was year 1, right? Spaz, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting the exact date. I feel bad. 3 months in, right, is when Spencer Webb passed.
Yeah.
And he had to deal with that. Yeah, he had to. So he immediately brought up this team building every year, go up the mountain in remembrance thing. So
that's tough.
Yeah, it's he's done a really, really good job. Up the SCO here in the chat, you're gonna go back and visit Laney's Ducks. You might be there for the Washington game, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. I fly back on the 29th, and that's what I plan to do, to get down there and check it out. I got to get down to Eugene in a while, so I would love to get down there.
You gotta go to Michael's Burger Place.
Oh yeah, I went already. One of my jerseys is in one of his places.
Ah, damn it. Well, then you got to go to the what is it? Spaz was the Mexican place.
Oh yeah,
Reuben's
Ranchito Grill in Springfield.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he just opened up about 4 years ago.
Okay.
We need a sponsorship.
He's right there on Mohawk.
Springfield was suspect back in the day when I was out there.
Yeah, it's not as bad anymore.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's downtown on Mohawk, Springfield.
Oh God. So Vernon, any kind of final things you want to say? I know you've given quite a bit of time tonight, which is highly, highly appreciated. Any kind of final thoughts for the team, on the team, this season, your career going forward, as you've talked about, because obviously we're paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, CFL, we're not in the US, is not heavily available.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, shoot, as far as me, you guys all be on the lookout. I'll be traded within these next 2-3 weeks to a different team, and whatever team that is, and you guys come with me. And we usually, these last 2 years, we've had a US TV sponsor. It was CBS Sports. So most of the games in the summer come on CBS Sports, but when the NFL starts, it kind of slows down a little bit in August and September. But you can catch the summer games. Our seasons are from June to November, so all summer. You can check us out. Former Ducks, Jeremiah Masoli is up there. Bo Lacumbo is up there. We were on the same team this past year. Jeremiah Johnson was up there a couple years ago, so it's a bunch of Dylan Mitchell is up there right now, doing really good. So, it's a bunch of former Ducks up there. So you guys support us, and it's a fun league. It's a passing league, so you can really see, just a lot of passing, a lot of big plays. And as far as the Ducks team, man, y'all boys, y'all know what to do. We gotta finish strong. Y'all having a great year. They're having a great year. So just finish strong and bring that championship home for Mr. Knight, man.
We're gonna be We're going to be unbearable on social media. I'm in quite a few groups with some SEC guys and whatnot, and I already told them. I says, I'm going to be so unbearable if we win the title. You guys are going to hate me.
Oh
You
yeah.
think you hate me now? I'm going to be so unbearable.
There
You're
you
not
go.
going to know what to do.
I'm already unbearable to Big Ten fans because I say this is our league. You just are allowed to play in it already.
That's it.
Like they can't stand it. They're like, well, Vernon Adams.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolute pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy your winter vacation and up there, and
damn right.
To see
Go
you
Ducks.
soon.
Yes, sir. So let's go Ducks, man. I'm glad we got on. Sorry it took so long. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything.
No, thank you. We appreciate you for coming.
Let's get back on again, probably before the season or something.
There we go.
Definitely.
There we go.
All right, man. Take care. Appreciate y'all. Go Ducks.
All right, man.
All right.
Go Ducks.
Go Ducks. Vernon Adams, everyone. Vernon Adams. Yeah, that's been a long time coming, trying to work on getting Vernon Adams on here. It's just been difficult with his professional life, sports, and all that stuff. You know, it's just
Injuries,
been difficult. Yeah. It's been difficult, but
crazy year.
So good to have him on because that was a thrilling year, good and bad in certain ways. In 2015 with Vernon Adams at the quarterback position, it was amazing when he was there and playing. When he wasn't, not such a good year.
No,
like when he wasn't there, not good. Hence, second half of the Alamo Bowl. Shut up, Spaz. Stop reminding me about that bowl game. How dare you? Painful memories.
I totally forgot that was the TCU game.
Yeah, painful memory. I was like, don't bring that up. How dare you? It had to be worse for Vernon Adams that he was sitting on the sideline, having to
not even feeling like he was hit.
Yeah, having to watch it. That had to have been even worse.
Oh,
but as a fan, it was
to hear that come out 10 years later just makes you want to vomit.
I mean, I'm sure there was some, obviously there was a protocol done, and they just went, no, you have to sit. I can't. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a physician. I'm not the coaching staff. So I don't know. But yeah, a painful game regardless.
Yeah.
And painful for Vernon Adams, I'm sure. So, but yeah, we definitely appreciate Vernon Adams giving us the time tonight to come talk because, yeah, we'd love to get some other players on here. As he said, there's a lot of Duck players up in the CFL right now, which is good. Continuing their professional career, they're making money.
Maybe you should have had him reach out to Masoli for us.
I will message him. They should. If he goes, I don't know if they're going to announce. I don't know if they'll announce Vernon Adams at the game, but if he's there, they'll probably show him. I don't know if they'll announce him.
Actually, they do a lot of times bring a lot of the former players down on the field pregame.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, pregame. I was like, there will be no super announcement though. But yeah, I can see pregame definitely.
Yeah, they announce them down on the field.
Yeah. Oh, it's a home game, so yeah, I could see that. So he should. That'd be cool if he gets there to see the rivalry. Yeah, we'll reach out. We'll see if we can get Mazzoli. I don't know if Mazzoli is favorable towards Oregon after they kicked him off the team. But
oh,
remember Chip Kelly kicked him. Chip Kelly kicked him off the team. So I don't know if he's super favorable to Oregon these days. Maybe he's just like, I don't care. It is what it is. That was so long ago, and he made mistakes. Kind of thing, but still, we'll see. I'll reach out.
He might be like, Dutch, fuck those guys.
Yeah, exactly. I'll reach out, but yeah, he might be like, we'll see.
Right?
Yeah, he said Lacumbo is still in the CFL. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I think he said Bo Lacumbo. I don't think that's correct. It was actually it's Lacumbo. I don't remember his first name for some reason. But yeah,
and
Lacumbo.
Driscoll's the third stringer behind Mariota.
Oh, on the Commanders?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Your
I was
sister
like,
just sent me that.
oh, okay. I was like, he's got to be practice squad or third string somewhere, probably. So I was correct. I know ball, damn it. No.
That's right.
Even though I hadn't heard his name in years.
No, it's another meltdown.
What?
They're having another crisis meltdown.
Who?
Spoiled children.
Oh, good God. What did they do? Lose another recruit?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go. Screw those guys. Thank you, Vernon Adams, for going to Eastern Washington and then Oregon just to spoil USC's terrible season.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vernon Adams. Spez, this is a relaxing week. We don't have to worry about anything.
No.
We have good reports. I don't want to touch on it too much because we can get the hell out of here. But Troy Franklin is back. Or
yeah, right.
Tess Johnson.
Thanks, Bo.
Tess Johnson is back. My God. Now I don't feel so bad when I see people reviewing the games and they keep calling him Troy Franklin. Now I don't feel so bad because they do it too, and they're like, "Why do I keep calling him?" Tess Johnson is back and he's fine. Apparently, he's cleared to go, and still has a week and a half to recover. So further, so good news.
Yeah, and Marcus Harper just released a thing a couple hours ago on Twitter as well, saying one step at a time. So apparently he's probably practicing as of today would be my guess, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, I think Harper, obviously, I don't want to say it's a more physical position, but if he's not 100%, keep him out to the Big Ten title game.
Yeah.
Just let him warm up.
Yeah, we don't need an Ohio State issue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Poor Ohio State, man. I was talking to those guys earlier. I'm like, ooh.
Their O-line is decimated right now.
You lose your starting right tackle, then your backup right tackle, and now you lost your starting center. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And they got their two biggest games of the year coming up.
And then 3 in a row. You're looking at Indiana, then Michigan rivalry game, and then Oregon. If they clear those games, that's rough. Because
with the makeshift offensive line at the end of the year.
Tosh Lapoy is foaming at the mouth, waiting to send blitzes right now against the backups. You know he is.
Oh yeah.
And he hasn't blitzed much this year. That's the craziest thing. Oregon doesn't even blitz that much.
No,
they bring 5 guys, maybe. That's about it. They don't really blitz. We haven't had corner blitzes or delayed linebacker blitzes much. He just brings maybe 5 guys at once. And other than that, he just relies on the 4 guys. So, yeah, he's foaming at the mouth right now, thinking about that.
But it's not Mike Elko-ing it.
Yeah, that sucks for Ohio State. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week for the Husky preview.
It's hate week. It's hate week next week. It was so good. It was so good one time. I'm going to do it again. But Spaz, where can people follow you online if they want to?
Right there.
So close. Almost.
So close. Almost.
Stop trying to finger me.
I'm fingering Ben.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it.
You can follow me on Twitter Instagram, all the other social media spots. Just look for me. And if you don't know where to find me, ask Jackson Johnson. He'll find me.
He stalks everyone.
He knows all my links.
He knows your home address.
Probably does.
He probably does. I wouldn't doubt that. And I'm just Ben of Exploring with Ben and Sam here on YouTube, Exploring with Ben on X, Twitter, and whatever, and other places, sure. Once again, shout out Vernon Adams, though. Highly, highly appreciate the time that he gave tonight. That was awesome. And hopefully everyone learned a bunch of different stuff about the process. And yeah, it's been a long time coming to get him on here. And so it was really cool. He got some time to set aside to get on here and talk ball with us.
So that's what, 3 players we've gotten this year?
Wow. That's it?
Yeah, we need
God,
more.
God, we suck. All right. It was so good once. We're going to do it again. Once again, shout out Vernon Adams. Everyone hit the like, subscribe. Make sure to follow Vernon Adams at Big Play VA on Twitter. And we will see you guys next week for Hate Week. As down, Husky. Down, boy.
Down, Husky.
Down.
Here's your ball game. 4th and goal. Adams once again extending the play. Does he have a miracle left in him? Launches it. 2 players come together, and it is scored. Dwayne Stanford.